How's everyone doing today? This is Noah with the Life of the Zigs, coming back at you with another video on this big box right here. So let's get started. Alright, so starting off, you guys are probably going to wonder how much this thing cost me. Well, in total, it cost me $1,766.51 with tax. That does have discounts included in it. Without any of those discounts, the subtotal would have been $2,279 plus tax. They have a Black Friday sale or Spring Black Friday sale going on at Home Depot, which is where I purchased this unit. And I had a 10% off, so it was like 26% off the unit in total. It was a great deal and definitely worth it for me. When it came to the shipping, handling, and packaging, as you can see, the packaging was great. It was 1/4 inch thick plywood. Everything was undamaged and it was in good condition. I had it delivered to the Home Depot store, so I had to pick it up from there, and that came on time. However, it was a hassle to get it from there when I arrived. Again, that's just my Home Depot. It doesn't mean it's going to happen everywhere. I will say, though, this box is a little over 250 pounds, so if you're going to try to move it yourself, you either got to be a big dude or have two people to help you. I was able to slide it off my trailer by myself. However, if I had to load it on by myself at Home Depot, that would have been hard. They took a forklift and put it on for me, which was nice of them. But when it comes to getting it off at home, I would definitely have it on a trailer and slide it off or get a friend to help you. Continuing with taking the box apart, I just used my hammer to break that wood apart. I thought it was the easiest. Once I got that one side open, I slid the whole grinder itself out. It was mounted to the bottom of the packaging with some nails and 1/4 inch plywood. I just ripped that up and then slid it out. Like I said, this is definitely the heaviest part of the whole assembly, but you can slide it out yourself, and once you have it in position and get the wheels on, it's really easy to move around. All right, so this is the mess we currently have. There is the grinder itself with all the parts right there. You got the handle, tires, the tow bar. You got the back cover for the chips so it doesn't fly and hit your legs. It also came with some eye protection, a cover for the unit, ear muffs, manual with some wrenches, gloves, a whole extra set of teeth, which I also ordered an extra set, so I have 2 sets of teeth just in case. The battery and the cover for the battery, and then the tires. And then that's the box over there. It was definitely well protected, well packaged. So now we're gonna put it together. Also there's this right here, which I guess it's to fill it up with. I'm not really sure. Kind of interesting, but yep, we're gonna put it together now. When it came to putting this unit together, it definitely was a little more challenging than I thought it was going to be. I would highly recommend using a jack to jack it up in the back or some sort of blocking to place it on, as you'll need that back end to be sitting up to mount the tires. When it came to mounting the tires, it was a 22mm bolt, I believe, that you had to take off. It did come with a wrench to screw that on and off. However, I just had an impact socket and just used that. It also had 2 washers and a cotter pin to hold it on. As you can see, that tire is meant to go on the right side of the unit, or the left side, which is where it's facing now. And the other tire has a little insert for the brake in it to let the brake grab that tire so it can't move when you're working the unit, which you'll see here in a second. Now moving on to that other side, which is where the brake is going to be, I put a wooden block of 2x4s under it to hold it up, and then unscrewed that bolt on it. Once that bolt was unscrewed, it was time to slide the brake assembly on, which you can see right there with that little slot that needs to be inserted to that metal tab that's sticking out there so it doesn't move. Once that's on, I slid the tire on, and this was kind of a pain, but I decided to not fully slide the tire on all the way, but set pressure on it, and then go and actually mount the handle, both parts of the handle, before I continued with mounting that tire. When it came to mounting this, it was 4 bolts, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. It was all 10mm bolts, so it was really easy to screw on, and I had all the appropriate sockets and wrenches I need. Like I said before, this kit does come with wrenches to do this. I'm actually using one of their wrenches right there. Nothing special about them. It's just nice that they include them in case you don't have any of those wrenches for whatever reason. One of the bolts was missing there. Normally they're actually all pre-mounted in the holes and you gotta take them out. One of them was missing, so I just used one of my bolts I had laying around the shop, which worked out fine. Right here, I am plugging in the safety switch for this unit, which I'll talk about later in the video and how it broke on me. But like I said, I'll talk about that later. Continuing on, I had to unscrew the big lag bolt it had through. It can self-adjust that top handle there. As you can see, there's little teeth and there is a big handle to unscrew it and screw it down tight, which makes it really nice to put it in the proper position that you want to put it in when you are grinding, because this is definitely a physically exhausting machine to use as it's not hydraulic. However, it does get the job done well. Right here, I had to remount that brake line to the top to the handle. It was super easy. I threw that bolt through, tightened it down, but not too much so that it wasn't holding that handle so it couldn't move back and forth. There also is a self-adjustment on that handle there. Continuing on, I had to mount the throttle to the right side right there. It's just 2 bolts that go through and get snugged up. This throttle is 180 degrees. It's so all the way forward is idle, and then all the way in the back position is full throttle. It also locks itself out, so you need to pull that little black tab up on the top so it won't jiggle back to idle or anything like that when you're using the machine. Right there is where I broke the safety. As you can see, it just flew out. I thought that was a push button. However, it was not, and I broke it. So I thought about reaching out to Power King to get a new one. However, I just said, I'm just going to forego this. I just unplugged everything and I'm saving it in case I ever do want to replace it. But it does work perfectly fine without any of that safeties plugged in or hooked up. Once all that was done and mounted at the top there, I had to slide this tire on, which trying to slide it on, it did not slide on with that brake there. So what I ended up having to do is take that tire back off, take the brake off there, make some adjustments to the brake to make it close a little more, and then slide that brake on and slide the tire on at the same time. So put the brake on first and then slide it on with the tire. That definitely works the best. Also, make sure that the brake line isn't in the way of anything, which is why I had to take it off again and make that fine adjustment so that wire wasn't going to get hung up in anything in any way. Once that was complete, slap that washer on that tire and that 22mm nut and screw it down just enough to where it's barely snug against that tire, as it will not allow it to spin if it's too tight. And make sure you slap that cotter pin back in there and bend it back so it won't slide out. Now that the tires are on, I had to put a dust cover or shield in the back so that any of those wood flakes wouldn't come hit you in the leg. It was really easy. It was 2 10mm bolts, unscrewed them, and then screwed them back in with that shield or protector or cover, whatever you want to call it, and just snug them up nice and tight, and you're good to go. When it came to mounting the battery, again, it was 2 10mm bolts. You unscrew and take out of the way, and then you just set the battery in place and you hook the 2 terminals up. Obviously, red goes to red, black goes to black. Those were 10mm as well. It is a little difficult to mount them as the bolt slides through and the nut kind of just sits in place and has a little groove for it to sit in, which did cause one of the nuts / bolts to strip out on me. But I made it work. Also, make sure you hook in the red first and then the black or negative last. That's how I've been taught and how you should always hook up a battery. After that's hooked up and the wires are covered, slap that black cover back on and take those 2 10mm bolts you set off to the side and screw them back in and snug them down. This holds the battery nice and snug, and I have not had any issues so far in using the grinder with that battery moving around too much. One thing I do not believe that this did not mention in the instructions was that it did not have oil in it. So please check your oil. Mine was like half full roughly, so obviously they tested the motor. I guess they didn't drain it out all the way, so I had to put oil in it. So make sure you check your oil always, because it could be empty, it could be full, you don't know. And then just top it off, and once it kind of starts to pour out the top there, you're full and ready to go. Then finally, you just need to put some gas in it. Just take standard gas or 4-stroke fuel. I had some 4-stroke lying around, so I chose to use that. And then just start it up. As you can see there, that thing started up like a champ. I love that it has the electric start. Right here, I'm grinding up the first stump with this. This stump took me about 10 minutes to do from start to finish. This machine really impressed me and did a great job. Obviously, the footage is sped up so you guys can see. I took a little adjustments and getting used to. There's definitely a learning curve with this machine. However, it is a great machine overall, guys. And it is a great investment to grind up stumps, especially a lot of them like I have. Also, when it comes to moving the dirt around, please fill it back in with actual soil, as the wood chips will decompose and leave a rut over time. As you can see, this machine truly does perform well. I'm very pleased with it for the price tag that it had, and I have 75 more stumps I need to grind up, guys, so stay tuned for all those stumps I need to grind up. I'll get some videos out there about that. I got that massive tree that I dropped a few weeks back that I put a video up on. I gotta grind that stump, so hopefully this one will do it in about 30 minutes, but like I said, I'll make sure to put videos out, time it, and show you guys how it does and performs. With that being said, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good day.